amazing sunshine, celebrating the marijuana culture with all of you here today. And I've got a plan that will end the war on marijuana right here in British Columbia. It's called Sensible BC. And we've written a law called the Sensible Policing Act. And this law will do for us here in British Columbia some of what they did down in Washington and Colorado. Move us on the path towards legalization right here in British Columbia. We can't fully legalize marijuana in BC. We'll let it change the federal law. But you know what we can do? We can tell our police to stop busting pot smokers. That's kind of what they do already. They don't lay very many marijuana possession charges, and they're giving us followers here today. But did you know that in the rest of British Columbia, the police have doubled the number of marijuana possession charges over the past 6 years? BC taxpayers are spending $10.5 million every year to pay the police and the courts just to charge and convict marijuana users. Our next premier is going to spend $60 million over their first term just to bust pot smokers if we don't put it into it. And we can put it into it with the Sensible Policing Act. This law will tell our police to stop busting pot smokers. It calls upon the federal government to repeal marijuana prohibition, and it starts figuring out how we're going to legalize pot right here in BC. To get this law passed, we want to have a referendum. It'd be great if our next premier would just pass this law. And you know, Adrian Dix was born on 420, so that's a good sign. But nevertheless, we're going to pass this law the same way they did it in Washington and Colorado. We're going to pass this law the same way they legalized medical marijuana in California and 18 other states. And that is with a referendum. We have written this law. We're going to get it passed ourselves, no matter what Stephen Harper says, no matter what our next premier says. We can do it. We just need to collect signatures from a whole lot of people this September, October, and November. We need to get 400,000 signatures from all across the province, so we only have 3 months to do it. So we're starting that clock this September. September, October, November is our official signature gathering campaign. If we get the signatures we need, then in September 2014, you will get to vote as to whether or not you think marijuana should be decriminalized in BC. I know how I'm going to vote when that day comes. Well, you know, you're going to vote too. But the hard part is getting on the ballot and getting all those signatures. So we got a lot of folks here who are registering people so that you can stay in touch with our campaign. Got one down there holding up her clipboard. We got a few others around. Talk to them, get some flyers, find out how you can help us make history, decriminalize and legalize marijuana right here in British Columbia as a province. We can do it. You know, in about 6 months to a year, you're going to be able to drive across the border to Washington. You're going to be able to walk into a marijuana store, and you're going to be able to order yourself some fine marijuana. Well, we should be able to do that right here in British Columbia. And the way to get from here to there is with the Sensible Policing Act and the Sensible BC campaign. So I want you to remember Sensible BC. I want you to go to sensiblebc.ca and register and sign up and help make history. And I really want you to do more than that. I want you to get involved in our volunteer teams. I want you to donate your time and your energy and maybe a little bit of cash to help make this campaign succeed. Because you know, the war on marijuana has been going on since long before any of us were born. And I don't want to pass this down to the next generation. I don't want my kids and grandkids to have to worry about getting busted for what herbal medicine they smoke or for what plants they grow in their garden. We have a chance to end marijuana prohibition here in BC with the Sensible BC campaign. I urge you to get involved, find out more, sign up, help make history. Do you want to see marijuana decriminalized and legalized in British Columbia? I thought you might say that. Well, let's make it happen. Put some of this energy into passing this law, the Sensible Policing Act, sensiblebc.ca. Get involved, make a difference. We can make history and change the laws right here in British Columbia. Thank you so much. That was Dana Larsen. If you're interested in helping to legalize pot, come get some buttons and information from this man, Dana Larsen.